besides his impressive PR credentials, he is also a very snazzy or attractive dresser. So, Syed, the screen is all yours. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. I'm not going to steal the thunder on what our President of Public Relations Communication, Andy, is going to say something about digital PR. But I have to tell you this. What digital PR does that normal PR cannot do is what you see may not be totally what you get. You do not see what I'm wearing below. Right? So today, what I wanted to just share within this distinguished panel, you all can hear me, right, everyone? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
very
Okay.
clear.
All right. I just want to make sure because I see Andy there looking a bit worried, so I don't know whether he could see me. So that's the other thing about digital platforms, right? We're pushed into the new normal. We're communicating through this. Instead of four walls, is a four-angled screen. It's a square. And sometimes you don't know, you could be opening your mouth to an audience who could not hear you. So how impactful is that when it comes to getting your message across, right? So one thing that I've learned through video conferencing is to double check on the audience whether they have a pulse on what I'm saying. So if you can everybody just wave their hands? Right? Okay. And yes, I think people off their cameras for bandwidth. Perhaps I would just like to get a view of everybody. If they open their camera for 3 seconds. Hi, Patricia. Okay. So then, you know why I'm saying this? When we communicate on digital platform, one of the worries that I have when I don't see people's faces, and sometimes this happens too, right? As a boss or a leader, sometimes you wonder whether your team is actually really listening to you, right? Or it's just their iconic photo on the screen, right? So digital communications is communications in essence, but on a new platform. The new platform is digital. It's a gadget. It's technology. It's the app. It's the way we reach out to each other. In the old ways, we can pick up a newspaper and we can read it at our leisure. We can flick through the pages, decide what stories we want. Today, most stories are pushed in your face, right? I get notifications on my gadget, my mobile phone, early in the morning. And now with the machine learning and artificial intelligence, they actually hear me. The communication platform is really targeted to me, right? So that day I was having a bit of a bum ache, sorry, pardon the French, when I was sitting in the office, right? And lo and behold, right on my gadget came this cushion, punya advertisement, and I didn't really say anything, right? I was just thinking how it would be nice if I could have something soft, all these long hours sitting down, right? So digital PR, is there such a thing? I'll let Andy tell you. But I believe that we are now in a different world altogether. Thanks to the pandemic, we don't really physically interface with each other. Gone are the days where I can go and visit Datuk Yong in Bernama, go to the Star, go to NST, Yam Cha, have a coffee, try to sell them my press release, and last time we used to get compared, this PR company came with a cake. That PR company's press kit was so impressive. Now what happens? You just WhatsApp je lah, your press release. So I get that sort of response, right? And this is how we are now pivoting to accept things where in the old ways, we didn't really think it's proper or kosher. In the old ways, we had to send a long, proper email to the editor with the proper attachments. And many a time where suddenly, your account executives go, oh shit, I've just sent the wrong email to the wrong editor, right? So Peter Yap from The Sun is not here, but Peter Yap has also shared a lot, Sometimes, I don't know, we never do research. And Peter Yap, the name Peter is not a girl, but when the email comes, it's Miss Yap, right? So he gets pretty upset with that. I think what is very, very relevant till today, right? While the digital platforms are available for us for a smoother, quicker, perhaps more engaging reach to the press, to the media, I think we should never forget relationships. Relationships with the editor, relationship with the journalists. We call it stakeholder engagement, but I prefer to use the word relationship because it's warmer, it's more humane. You have a relationship with your wife, you don't call it your stakeholder, right? And I think this is something that the young PR practitioners should continue to embrace, to develop and evolve. While we're now hampered by this pandemic and we speak to each other over this celluloid piece of material, we must never forget there's a beating heart, a pulse in that screen, right? Somebody who has worries, somebody who may not be able to sleep over certain things at night, somebody who has children, whose family. Some people may look like they're having it well, Social media gives you a different perspective of life. But behind the facade, people are suffering, right? So I was told by my boss, never ever assume. Never ever assume that your team or people in the organization who's been there for many years know everything. Never assume that the media that you're asking help for is in a position that can help you. Sometimes, and this is a long-standing issue with the press, you PR people, when you want something, you come knocking at our doors, come ringing at our phones day and night. But after you get through, not a word of thank you, not a word of, appreciation or gratitude, right? So as much as Datuk Yong says, PR people give the media some fodder or content to write about, very much it's a mutual thing, and it should be mutual respect that PR professionals should also consider the media as a partner. And when I say when you consider media as a partner, what do I mean? You have your bosses, you have your clients, but a worthy PR counselor or practitioner should be someone who's able to dish viable advice to your CEO, to your C-suite, to your clients, and not be subservient to their whims and fancies and needs, I used to have a client who wants coverage. And I used to question, okay, yeah, I can get you that thanks to my relationship with Datuk Yong, who helps me flush all the stories out. But I do ask, what's the impact? Sales ada naik kah? And then sometimes, clients are very hard to please. They're never happy, If you get 100 media there, but that one single media is not there, suddenly they ask. Right? But they don't see the other 99. So, like I said, these are one of the challenges that will kind of like been dumbed down because of technology, and more so because of the COVID situation. As you all know, when the pandemic came, I think it was also going on because with digitalization and online media, we saw many of our long-standing media friends and all that, organizations were forced to close, the jobs were lost, right? But what it did is they were very agile. They were very resilient. They went out on their own, and we had this mushrooming and popping up of online media from the press, the media practitioners. So suddenly we got this plethora of medium out there, and it's so fragmented now, the media, right? You can't say, okay, like dulu in the old days before all these digital, Star was the one size fits all. Even advertising agencies always tell the client, you just need to put your money in the Star, put it in Sinchu. And then of course the Malay one was you had to buy utusan lah, right? Now no longer. Now it's about reaching out to your audience regardless of media title, but the media titles have to work harder now to trawl and get those eyeballs onto their channels. Now it's about reach, right? And the reach now, how do you measure the impact? So companies have to work much harder in measuring the impact now, right? You have to put out surveys, you have to do customers satisfaction indexes, net promoter scores, put out government advocacy plans to see whether your stakeholders are responding to your messages, whether they're going to react to your queries and support you and advocate for you. So there's much, much more work to be done in the field of communication now, right? We cannot take for granted that, while we sit on our chairs and send WhatsApp messages and, go online, it is more sexy work than dulu. Dulu have to just send, you have to go physically, go and meet the editor. The design of the connection, while it's changed into a different format, the core of it, the heart of that relationship I go back to remains the same, right? Does your content matter? I think my colleague here, Shukri, he always drives this. And I think for the media, content does matter, right? Because you have people who are now enclosed in a situation where they don't only look for content that is informative, they also look for content that pulls the heartstrings, the emotions. When you're stuck working from home, when you're told to stay home, right, you're physically constrained. Human beings were made to be mobile, right? So how do you mobilize yourself and keep yourself motivated? Is through the mind. And how is the mind stimulated towards that end game? And this is where the content comes in, right? The right information, the right level of entertainment, the right level of good taste, right? There are a lot of information that is entertaining out there which are in bad taste, right? And you see that a lot in, TikTok, sometimes in Facebook, right? And you need to understand all these digital platforms. Who are they, right? As we know last time, Star, NST, Sinchu, Berita Harian, Utusan, TV3, RTM, who are they? What is everyone has an agenda and an objective, right? Now you need to understand what is LinkedIn, what is Facebook, what is Twitter, and what is Tinder, because they can carry the same audience, It could be the same person, but that same person reacts and responds differently in different channels, right? Facebook can be quite toxic, right? A lot of anal retentive people out there. Sikit-sikit triggered. LinkedIn is a bit more professional, and the sharing is a bit more robust, very positive, very encouraging. So I like LinkedIn, right? But some people say LinkedIn is for old people. Okay, I've been just shown a watch by Datuk Yong. So On that note, what I would like to overarchingly say, right? Digital PR is still PR, but in a different form and matter, right? And I will end it with that. And after that, any questions after the whole panel has gone through, I'll be very happy to share with you. And by the way, please get your vaccination so that we can go to phase 4. Then you can rentas negeri and travel on Plus Highway again. Thank you.